Okay, who here hasn't been to space? Why? You better not throw up on my ship.
Approaching jump in 3, 2, 1.
So for anybody that has been here, let me start it that way. Anybody that's been here since we started this channel knows I've had my Spider-Verse theory. And this new rumor feeds so heavy into my Spider-Verse theory. And this is like, I don't know, I'm sure everybody has seen this, that Sony and Amazon had come to an agreement to do a live-action Spider-Man spin-off series of shows. And it is they're starting it with Silk. And everybody knows Silk is Cindy, has the same story as Peter. I'll get into that in a minute. But so this is the reason I say that this feeds into that is because they're doing this. They've got Lord and Miller that are going to be helming this. By the way, Lord and Miller, you guys know as the ones behind Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, everything like that. When it comes to Sony projects that Lord and Miller are outside of anything Lord and Miller have done with Sony, I mean, we saw Venom and it was fun, but it wasn't, like I said with Black Adam, it was fun. Mm-hmm. It was fun. Venom 2, you got it. It was horrible.
Said you got it. It's there.
It's there. Fine. You got
it. Came out.
Morbius, as you know, I still have not seen it. I refuse to see it.
Bro, that one night when I was Snapchat, I was like, I'm bored, about to just watch Morbius for fun. 10 minutes into that bitch, I was asleep.
Yeah. You lied to me for 2 years, and then 2 weeks before the film said, never mind, psych, no Spider-Man. So fuck them for that. Then they re-released it, and anything. Basically, what we're getting at is anything outside of Lord and Miller that Sony has done and resolved to the Spider-Verse. It's been not good. And if the Spider-Verse, as we have been hearing in rumors, is going to tie into what they're doing with Secret Wars, and I heavily believe that it is, and this just feeds into my rumor more, my theory more, because we heard last week that Tom Holland, an animated version of Tom Holland, was going to be showing up into Across the Spider-Verse, either part 1 or 2. We're not sure which part yet. We also have heard that Kevin Feige is heavily involved with helping them orchestrate the Spider-Verse that they're trying to connect here. We've also heard that Sony's trying to get to a Spider-Geddon. We've also heard that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are also going to be showing up in this little Across the Spider-Verse as well, animated form. We've also heard that they're going to be showing up in Kang Dynasty, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in Secret Wars. With Kevin Feige helping Sony with everything that I just listed there, that's all going to tie into that Miles Morales breaking. I don't know how exactly they're going. I don't know if they're going to keep it comic like that, and it's going to be Miles' universe that, collides into 616. I don't know if that's the way they're going to do it. But however they do it, I think Miles is going to play a heavy part in Secret Wars. You're already going to have Tom Holland's Spider-Man, who is obviously Sony's Spider-Man, but the MCU rents him. And having him in Across the Spider-Verse now establishes our 616 Spider-Man relationship with all that shit that's about to be going on in the Sonyverse, now aligned with a series that you can introduce Silk, you can introduce Spider-Punk, we've also heard
Daniel Kaluuya was cast.
Yeah, but as the voice, but we heard something about a live action. I forgot who it was. They said there was going to be.
Yeah, I heard that shit too. I'll be able to find it real quick.
You can all of them. And then you've got the rumors of everything going on with Madam Web. Now, let me just give that quick rundown real quick. Everything going on with Madam Web. It's Ezekiel Sims. It's supposed to be a Terminator-type film where Ezekiel Sims is going to be going back in time, and it's up to Madam Web to assemble a team of Spider-Man to go back. And the time that everyone is alluding to that Ezekiel Sims is going back to is going to be Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man time. Because on set, it looks like Sam Raimi's everything from Sam Raimi's universe. It's got the Daily Bugle. It's got it's the same logo from Sam Raimi's. It's got they're in the same times, and I forget if I would have got the pictures, I would have pulled them up, but I forgot to pull those up. But there's pictures from the set that look heavy like Sam Raimi's, and it's supposed to be the plot around Ezekiel Sims going back in time to try to murder Spider-Man before he's born, and obviously Madam Web understanding that Peter Parker is the Spider-Man. We have to stop this from happening. And obviously if that happens and that breaks into all of this Spider-Verse stuff that they're doing and introducing all these characters, it's not just Spider-Man. I'm sure they're going to be doing I'm sorry, yeah, it is just the Spider-Man verse there. And then everything you've got going on with Kraven, everything that you've got going on with Venom 3, and whichever Spider-Man's supposed to be showing up in that one, I'm sure tying into all of this. I'm sure Sony looked, I know this is winded, I'm sorry. I'm sure Sony looked at what they did previously, looked at what Lord and Miller did, and I'm sure Lord and Miller are now just going to be basically like Dave and John over at Star Wars. Or James and Peter Safran, because you've got Lord and Miller who know these characters. They've already proven to you. We gave you your most successful Spider-Man film that is widely beloved by almost everyone. And on top of that, we've shown and proven that we know these characters. Unlike Lucasfilm, they looked in-house and said, "Hey, we don't need to go outside to try to find directors or anything to come in and do characters that they don't really know. We got two guys right here that have proven they know them." It's happening. I just wanted to... I'm not going to drop my pen yet. I'm not dropping the mic yet. But when it does happen, I've been saying this for months. I just want to push that out there. Thoughts? Concerns?
I'm not excited for this as much as I thought whenever I
That's
saw
okay.
the S.
You can rain on it.
When I saw the S, because when I first read it, I was like, oh, they're doing, they're announcing more... they're doing a Spider-Man show, right? Which would be good. It can tie into things. But then shows, I realized it was plural. It goes back into my big fear of saturation, right?
But how do you do a Spider-Verse without the plural? There's no Spider-Verse if it's singular. It's just Spider-Man. You can't do a Spider-Verse without introducing Spider-Punk, without introducing Silk,
but you can introduce all these people in one show. Just like
Who
they
the
introduced...
hell?
Just like in the fucking Into the Spider-Verse. How many Spider-Men did they introduce?
That was a movie.
Yeah, but you can do the same thing with the TV show.
But why? Okay, here's the thing too. Here's the thing with Amazon. With Amazon, you take Silk's story. Silk's story is the same as Spider-Man's story, except you take away all the good. You take away all the growing up with a loving family. You take away the having Uncle Ben saying with great power comes great responsibility. You take away having friends. She grew up with no one, but was bitten by the same exact spider that bit Peter Parker. How do you tell that gritty of a story and then say, "Oh, but here's Spider-Punk"? Like that doesn't fit in that. You need to have a story.
Right,
No, I'm sorry. To me, it just doesn't.
You're telling me there are TV shows where there can be gritty characters and characters who are juxtaposed to that character interacting together.
No, I'm not saying that can't happen because we've seen that happen.
Like, okay, you need to watch 12 episodes of Silk Spider, 12 episodes of Spider-Punk.
How do we know it's 12 episodes, though? What if it's 6 short, sweet episodes, get to know the character, boom, here's the next one, boom, here's the next one, boom. Okay, now they're all going to come together, and I'm sure some of them are going to intertwine because they're building the Spider-Verse.
I'm just saying I'm worried that if you're going to make me watch that many series, just to a whole series to introduce one character to me, that it's easy burnout.
Okay, so then I guess I'm confused. What do you mean just one character? Because that's what the MCU has done with entire...
And most people are burnt with Phase 4 of the MCU.
People are burnt with being let down. This was a conversation we had last night.
Mm-hmm.
The people are burnt with being let down, not so much burnt with the shows themselves, burnt with the outcome of these shows, having such expectations going in, and then those expectations being meh. I don't.
But this goes back to my opinion. I'm not excited to watch 8 Spider-Man shows or 8 Spider-Man.
Well, you've got to be one of the only people because, again, that name alone puts asses in the seats. And why give it to Amazon instead of Disney? Because I've seen some people asking that. Because look at The Boys, look at Invincible. You can do shit on Amazon, and I think with what they're trying to do with the Spider-Verse, I think you're going to come to eat crow with what you just said because. It's Spider-Man. It's the Spider-Verse. Lord and Miller. Sony and Kevin Feige are now getting their shit together. That's fine.
I mean,
it goes back to... Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to... Here's my thing. The only concern I really... Because I'm excited. I wouldn't downplay it. I'm not excited. But my only concern is the pacing and the timing of everything if we're trying to complete everything before we get to Secret Wars and have that all on pace and everything. And so I just hope, knowing it's Sony and knowing that they have those always the possible outcomes of where they didn't get Kevin Feige or Marvel's approval for something and they go do something stupid. I just hope that they get everything in order of what they want to do, at least like the structure of what characters they want to have these certain shows and what characters they want to come together in shows. Because I mean, I get what Trey's saying, but on the other side of things, imagine if it's like we have it's just like 3-4 shows, but we're introducing 8 to 10 different It's just like it's the Spider-Verse, and I think that's the part to be excited for. It's just like it can be saturated, but with doing it right and the right timing and pacing on everything, I don't think if there's a storyline, I don't think there's anything to saturate because it's like it's a multiverse. It's a spider. It's supposed to be crazy, a bunch of shit going on at once, and that's my thing. I just feel like, I mean, I hope I'm able to keep up personally just with all the shit that I'm hearing that's supposed to be coming out because we've got the Miles Morales parts 1 and 2. Then they're doing Amazon shows. Then they want to do Madam Web. Then we still have all the Marvel shit that they want to. Yeah, that they want to connect to Secret Wars. And so
here's the thing with that though.
Or not connect to Secret Wars, but at least get in that certain where they can put those certain Spider-Men in.
I think
Secret Wars.
the Spider-Verse shows that they're doing with Amazon. That's what's connecting to Secret Wars. El fucking Muerto. Marvel and Kevin Feige don't give one flying fuck about that film.
No, but I'm just saying it goes back to, it's like because we all would watch a Taz, another Amazing Spider-Man movie, right? But I'm not going to I didn't watch Morbius, not watching El Muerto, not watching a Rhino spinoff. I will skip all of them and watch the Amazing Spider-Man. Now, if one of these series comes out that is like, oh, dude, this is really fucking good, then obviously I'll watch it. But am I excited that they're going to hit me with 5 different variant Spider-Man series? Again, I'm going back to that, it's a lot.
You're still kind of assuming, though. You put 5 series, 6 series. We don't know how many episodes series. It could be 2-3 series and then straight into a movie or something.
I mean, very true, but they're talking... But then that would go back to if they're introducing a whole bunch
I know, like
of
you say,
Spider-Man,
shows and everything.
But I'm saying if there's a whole bunch of different Spider-Man, then they might not get independent shows. Then it might be series of more than one Spider-Man doing something, and that's a whole different conversation.
But I think that's the route we go though, because if
origin stories of every one of them as a whole season, I don't need that.
I don't think that's necessarily a thing we get to because I don't think they all have to have origin stories. If I'm being necessarily honest, I think what
if Silk is the catalyst to what is going on in the Spider-Verse? And if Silk is the catalyst, and then you see, maybe, I'm just assuming, I'm just throwing something out. I don't know what this is going to be about. But you have maybe a Madam Web showing up with the events that have already happened in her movie and dealing with the time traveling of Ezekiel Sims. Mm-hmm. Then she shows up in Silk and says, you play a much wider role in a bigger universe or whatever. Mm-hmm. And boom, now you're in a Spider-Man 2099 series.
Well, I mean,
we already know what's going on, and it's not an origin, but we're jumping in, and it's something tying him in with Silk, or something tying him into the wider Spider-Verse.
I think it will be Silk series will kind of be the test on how this will go and where it's going to go for me. But I'm not sitting here. I'm not nearly as anticipating this as I would say our last topic of Daredevil. I'm just kind of let me see where this goes.
I would say I am.
For me, I am too. Just because it's Spider-Man.
Because
it's Spider-Man.
I've been interested ever since I heard that Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield are supposed to be in the animated verse and everything with Miles Morales. And so just hearing that rumor and knowing that they're trying to connect everything, not
Well, I'm also not as happy about it being Sony.
That's my thing, though. I don't want Sony to try and overdo it and make money in it. I want them to just tell a good, correct story and see what their outcome is. Instead of okay, here go all these big names and all your childhood heroes, and we're going to introduce some new Spider-Man, some new Spider-Man, whatever you want, just so we can make money. I want them to actually be in the lab, have a notebook, write the fucking plan, and I want them to act accordingly and stick. If Kevin Feige tells you that he needs something done to set up Secret Wars, listen, do it. Don't make everything a pissing contest to make money or some shit. I just want Sony to be able to handle Spider-Man because the hype that comes with Spider-Man is just so insane. But it's rightfully so because the Spider-Verse is fucking crazy. So I mean, if you nail that, I mean, you're set. You don't have to worry about your next movie flopping or anything. This is what they have to get right.
And I think that they will, and here's why I think they will. We keep saying, and I say this too, we keep saying Sony. Sony is the company, but Sony has the people that work under their umbrella as I know you guys know this, as like just like in the Mouse, like there's Bob Chapek, but then there's Kevin Feige who's over Marvel. So you've got Amy Pascal, who is the producer, doing what she does. Knowing that Amy Pascal is working hand in hand with Kevin Feige, maybe not knowing that she's working hand in hand with Kevin Feige, then knowing Lord and Miller's track record with their Spider-Man material, from what we've already seen with Into the Spider-Verse, what we've seen with the trailers and things for Across the Spider-Verse, just them having it alone, that's how I feel with Star Wars with Dave. I'm good. Because I know somebody that understands these projects, understands these characters, understands what this means. I'm sure they've sat down with Feige, if this is indeed feeding into the theory of moving into the Secret Wars and Spider-Geddon and everything. I'm sure they understand what you're doing is, yes, we're building your own Secret Wars, your Spider-Geddon, but it feeds into a much larger universe. You got to put somebody behind this that knows these fucking characters, and it can't be no Venom.
Do you not have any worries that it gets rushed, or that they'd have that deadline of Secret Wars and having to connect everything?
I
feel like
do, but I don't,
these,
because it's 2026 for Secret Wars.
Right, but I feel like you're kind of holding on to these things of like it's Kevin Feige, even though Black Panther, Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder, all their projects have been being
and what have we talked about in Phase 4 when it comes to Kevin Feige and why things have been lackluster, not having as much creative control? But what have we talked about with Phase 5 when it comes to Kevin Feige? One of the things that he said, one of the things that he's wanting done, more creative control, and he's going to make sure that Phase 5 hits the way it's supposed to hit.
Right, I'm just saying,
Kevin
just
Feige has never failed us before
around a situation.
But he's the greatest producer of all time. These are things we've talked about on this channel. What do you mean just because there's certain names? Whenever we talk about Secret Wars, what names? We're saying certain names. We want the Russos to do it. Right. Why? Because of their track record. So when I say Kevin Feige, I'm talking on the man's track record. I'm talking about he hasn't let me down. Phase 4 may have been lackluster, but I'm not putting that on Feige.
No, but the only thing Spider-Man and Sony that I really am like, I mean, we had one good animated movie and the next two look great. But I'm not just sitting here sold on it. Because Sony does have a terrible track record, in my opinion.
Sony does. Kevin Feige does not.
I'm sorry.
Tom
Holland doesn't either.
Yes, I mean,
I get that, but I'm talking about for this series. I'm not sitting here like, oh, I'm sold because...
No, and Lord and Miller don't have a bad name. Something.
Well, my thing is, I'm just saying,
within the Spider-Man universe that Lord and Miller have done. I mean, like I said, they've delivered Sony's most successful film. No Way Home's not Sony's film. Delivered Sony's most successful film. I don't know anybody that says, "Oh, I didn't like Into the Spider-Verse."
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean,
Sunflower just went
17
times
and
platinum.
why? People, nobody
17
listening to
times
Sway.
platinum.
Sway Lee?
Hey, chill out.
Nobody was listening to Sway Lee.
Chill out.
Nigga, nobody was listening to Sway Lee like that.
Chill out.
Now,
chill out. Yeah, you know, right?
Multiple people were...
Chill out on Black
not
Beatles
like that,
and Trim Life 1 and 2.
Okay, so they had their hits, right? Where's Sway Lee now?
Rapping. He's still making music.
I've not heard this man.
Now Slim Jim probably not.
Here's the thing.
Slim Jimmy probably not.
Here's the thing. This is what I'm saying.
Sway Lee.
That's cool.
Deaf.
Listen, I coach basketball, right? I'm around kids younger than
Sway Lee not for no hooping ass.
That's what I'm saying. So when it comes to the general young population, ain't nobody's.
You just sit in the gym, ain't no one pulled up to hoop listening to Sway Lee.
My boys have never.
What do you know what a hoop is? Sunflower.
Play that Sway Lee. I rock that Sway Lee.
I promise to God you don't have some Rage Trimmer bumping in the gym.
I haven't. But
promise to God. I promise you.
But back on topic, because I don't give a damn where Sway Lee is.
No one's probably played Ugly God in the gym, but I'm sure he's.
That was off topic. I'm just saying. Yeah, no.
Either way, Lord and Miller are behind Sony's most successful Spider-Man stuff, and having them here again just puts on par with, yes, names matter, because when we hear Taika Waititi, alarms and red flags go up. So names do matter.
I mean, it's cool, and it's cool that it's making you that excited. I'm just more trepidatious to it. That's all I'm saying.
And that's fine. You can be trepidatious. But I've rarely been wrong when it comes to the theories and things like Multiverse of Madness. You all disagreed with me. And then boom, what happened?
I didn't disagree with you. I just said I knew.
You argued me down with what was going to happen with Wanda. Wanda wasn't the villain to you at first? Oh, buddy, it's on the channel. Take a visit. Take a trip back in time a little bit.
I don't think I said she wasn't. I think I said I didn't
take a
want,
trip
I think,
back
I think
in
what
time.
I think what I originally said is I didn't want her
Trey,
to
we don't have to
be-
argue about it because it's recorded. Just take a trip back in time.
I will.
And you will see where you were doubting me before, and I was right then.
I said I wasn't enjoying the idea.
No,
but
senor.
we're getting off
He's
topic
like
here.
swang.
As always, because we do have other topics,
like
question is for you guys. Let us know down below in the comments what you guys are thinking. Are you as excited as I am, or are you on the side like Trey is, where he thinks I'm not excited about it, because, or he's trepidatious about it for the reasons he explained? So let us know down in the comments what you think. Are you excited, or are you more trepidatious about what's going on with the Spider-Verse? Are you on Q's side, where you're just like, yeah, Sway Lee? Let us know.
I'll just say